Welcome to MOGULTalk, where wealth and lifestyle converge. We are mindset media dealing with business, social relevance, abundance, lifestyle, and spirituality. This is your time. This is your moment. And this is your host, Ms. Mogul, Charity Smith.
Wow, here we go, y'all. We're starting out already with shenanigans. But hello, everybody. It's Charity Smith. I am super excited to be in the studio with you today. We have a bonus session on today. So for all of the lovers in the house, traditionally we celebrate Valentine's Day in February. So I thought it would be appropriate that we have a special session today about dating and chemistry and what all of this means in bringing our love together. But before we get to our special segment, I want to make sure that you all know that our show is sponsored by the Mogul Method. For all of you business leaders, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, leaders of organizations who are looking to take your organization just from success to quantum leaps in success, I invite you to connect with the Mogul Method. It is a strategic, high-level training in creating business success, business culture, success culture, and really training the leaders in your organization how to be at their optimal best. So if you want that information, make sure that you go on February 20th when our sessions open. February 20th, register for that session. Also, for those of you who have been asking for real estate training, it is back. So Mogul Life Real Estate is hosting now real estate investing trainings for all of you who want to now expand your portfolio or are looking to exit corporate America and come into your own enterprise. This is where you need to start. February 23rd, those classes open up. So if you want the introduction to real estate investing, tax liens and tax deeds, land investing, buy and hold, which is my absolute personal favorite, and how to leverage the tax benefits, the equity, everything that goes along with that. Make sure you register for those classes on February 23rd. Not now, February 23rd is when that opens. Now, we have been in the Our Love series. You all, the testimonials that are coming in from the couples who are sharing their experiences about love and legacy, cultural challenges or historical challenges to our love, how to bring it all back together, how we love, how we talk, how we bond. The testimonials that are coming in from this are, I knew it would, let me just say it this way. I knew it would be powerful. I didn't know it would be like this. My guests are getting calls from all of you, literally around the world, who are saying, we needed this. We needed somebody who would speak our language to this subject matter. And it absolutely blesses my heart to do that. So I wanted to do a session today for the married couples, absolutely, but for all of the singles out there. And I call us the whole people, right? One being whole. That's what you mean when you say you're single, it means you're whole. That's a whole different conversation that I want to have with y'all on that. But for all the singles in the house who are saying, yeah, I'm whole, but I want another whole person to share my life with, I have in the studio today someone who can help us navigate all that and answer all the questions. Let me introduce her to you. Jennifer Hayes is a certified matchmaker. Yes, I said it. Dating coach and relationship practitioner with 25 years in the industry. So she's no novice at this. Jennifer understands the challenges facing men and women seeking the right person to date. Here's that word, commit to, and eventually marry. She teaches clients how to prepare for love and how to break free from the barriers blocking the desired goal, which is a lasting, and I would say a loving relationship. So without further ado, come on in the studio today. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm thrilled because I told you before we started, this is free therapy for me. I can't wait. What's going on?
I'll do my
Like my friends from Jamaica said, what a guan? What a guan? What's going on with all of this? I'm glad to have this conversation with you because historically, I just want to jump into the water with the alligators and swim. Let's just do it. Historically, in the African American community, matchmaking has been that stuff that our grandparents did or our aunties did at church when she thought she saw a single young man coming in. Look at him. What about him? You know, or our best girlfriend in corporate saw a nice guy at the mixer and said, I have a friend. Let me connect you all. And sometimes that stuff worked. A lot of times it did not.
Right.
And so that's kind of been my understanding. And just talking to people about matchmaking, that's kind of how it happened. But tell us really, what is a matchmaker in this space? What's a matchmaker?
A matchmaker is what we do is we have clients that actually come in and meet with us one-on-one, and they let us know their list of non-negotiables and what they're looking for. And we screen like a headhunter. So we make sure that the person is who they say they are, that their relationship goals are the same, that they're aligned the same. We also do compatibility testing, which is really big because a lot of times we go out and we meet people and we want to date them based on physical appearance, not realizing that even though he's attractive and he's, tall, dark, and handsome, you're not compatible with this person. You don't know anything else besides that. So we do the testing, in-house, and we do all of the screening. We do all of the work for you. So
I like what you said about he may be tall, dark, and handsome, which is the way she likes him. She being me. Absolutely. But I like what you're saying about even though he may meet the physical characteristics, that compatibility component may be missing. What is the science to matchmaking? Because I heard you say that you all vet the people who are coming in, whether you're seeking a relationship or responding to a request. There has to be this vetting process, but there has to be a science.
Right.
Tried and true methodology to bringing people together. So what's the science behind all the matchmaking? So it just can't be the endorphins shooting off when we see somebody, or is
no, and I think every matchmaker is different. Their style is different because I also believe that dating isn't a one size fits all. It's very different for different people. But I do believe that when you have compatibility, and we're gonna talk later about chemistry, but when you're compatible with somebody, see, like I was saying, is when we go out and we date, most of the times we meet people based on what we see. Let's say that we went to church, or we go to, out to dinner or to a club or whatever. You meet people and you're immediately attracted to what you see. But then let's say that you're attracted to him, he gets your number, you go out with him, and then 3 months later you realize we're not equally yoked. We're not. He doesn't want kids. He doesn't want to get married. So with a
narcissist.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
He is a malignant narcissist.
All of the above. He's not the man that he presented himself
or
to
she
be.
is, for that matter. But yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. And so with us, the difference is because when somebody comes to us and they tell us, this is what I want to be, my long-term goal is to be married. I want to eventually have children. I'm looking for somebody like this. And also as a dating coach, we go back to some of their past relationships and try to clear those paths that were preventing them from finding the right relationship. So now when I'm matching you, I'm not matching you with somebody that doesn't want marriage. All the people, women or men that I'm matching with, they're aligned the same as far as relationship goals and what they want out of life and lifestyles. And that's what sustains a long-term relationship.
Mm-hmm. What exactly is dating? I heard you say that one size doesn't fit all. Have we fully understood what dating is? Is it really just kind of showing up, looking cute and fly and, ready for what exactly is the process of dating? You said that one size doesn't fit all, but I'm not sure that, and the reason I say that, I will use me as the experiment in here.
Okay.
I've been divorced for some time now. And
okay.
we'll just talk about that at a later time when I have time to just divorce, I really don't even like the term divorce anymore because it means things to me. I would say I have been unmarried now. Mm-hmm. After that marriage ended, I've been unmarried and single, alone for some time.
Right.
So I'm not even sure I'm acquainted with what dating is now. You know, and I wonder sometimes if our ideas may be antiquated when it comes. Is there such thing as being antiquated in dating? What should we be looking for? What the heck is it?
I think dating is getting to know somebody to see if you want to further that relationship. So, you know, and so that when you go on a date, you're trying to get to know that person and see if this is somebody that you could potentially want to continue dating. I think that's the first step of dating, is just really, it's that first attraction, that first, you know, a little bit of compatibility, and really getting to decide if this is somebody I want to continue seeing.
So if dating is getting to know someone, I have a lot of friends who talk about male and female. That first date can be a mixed bag. Either it's the extreme honeymoon process where you're thinking this person is absolutely fantastic. There's no broccoli in their teeth. They want the same things. Career-wise, we're compatible. Goals-wise, we are compatible. You know, it kind of looks good and it feels good. But the antithesis or the opposite of that is the first date is an interrogation, where a lot of hardcore personal questions are asked. And in my mind, that comes from a place of insecurity and fear. And people are just trying to make sure that they weed out all of the frogs, so to say, so you don't kiss any more frogs. So what should we be doing on that first date? Is it the opportunity to just kind of enjoy the process and have the honeymoon phase and let things take an organic, natural course? Or do we come in and we're like Johnny Cochran, so to speak? I mean, just go in with the interrogation, because, you know, what does all of that look like? How do we conduct ourselves in that first initial meeting? Your first, and again, like I said, I think everybody's different, but for me, what I would tell my clients is that you need to go have fun. Go out and enjoy yourself. You know, nobody is looking for an interview on the first date. I'm not marrying you tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's don't be so attached to the outcome. And I think that's the big issue, is that people are very attached to the outcome, that on a first date, you're not, I don't owe you, I don't owe you the right to tell you about my entire life. Then I don't know you. I've just met you. And I think that, you know, we think that we have to put all this out on the first date. It's about really just enjoying yourself, having fun, allowing, like you said, this to happen organically and natural. And, you know, people say silly things on the first date. People make mistakes. People are nervous. And so you're basing all of that off of this first date. And you're putting all your eggs in one basket just on this first date. It really takes some time to get to know somebody. And another thing too is that when you're older, chemistry happens a little bit later. It's not that instant spark that you think that's just going to happen naturally. It doesn't happen like that. It takes time to really develop chemistry, especially healthy chemistry.
Why do you think, well, before we get to why do you think that is, I want to go back to something that I really kind of want to drive home, particularly for, and I'm going to just be transparent and say for African-American females. Just in my questioning and preparing for the series, it's been the fear factor that brought them to the place of interrogation. Can be absolutely stunning and beautiful women on the outside, but after the first few minutes of conversation, the guy kind of glasses over because she's kind of drilling in with, you know, so what's your annual income? Did you file your taxes last year? Are you all of these questions? And the guy's like, wait, sister, hold on. I'm hungry. I just want a good meal and a good conversation. And you asking me about my blood type. And my social security number. Oh no, I don't need it. I've already looked you up. I got your social security number. You know, so it's all of that stuff that tends to come into the first date. And I love the advice you give, Jennifer, with letting people be themselves, taking the pressure off. I think that's kind of been the failing component of that first date as well. It's because the expectations and the bar are so high. And the pressure is on as if, you know, this dinner is going to determine if I marry this person or not tonight.
Right.
No, No.
No.
And is it possible to just take all of the veneer off? And I'm not saying not go out without your makeup on. That's not what I'm saying. Makeup is on. Lashes are on. That's not what we're saying. But the expectations, the unrealistic expectations that we put on that first encounter, I think if it's possible to remove that, and I'm not saying not show up as the best version of ourselves, but if you accidentally snort while you're laughing, it's not a deal breaker. You know what I mean? If you accidentally drop a fork or something, it's, in other words, being human and having those human experiences in that first encounter, not deal breakers.
I think that there's a lot of stereotypes that are placed upon Black women.
Let's talk about it.
And I think that really hinders a lot of women from allowing themselves to be this vulnerable person and allowing, because they put up this wall, and when you're up against these racist stereotypes of you're emasculating and you're angry and you have to live up to the white standards of who they want you to be, it's hard. And I think these stereotypes, they do two things. It hurts a Black woman from really truly being herself and being who she is, but it also helps. It's causing you to internalize that there's not a lot of Black men out there, that that they want other people besides you, that they're in jail, that they're not educated. And that's just not true. We're buying into that stereotype.
That's good. I do know very well. And so I do know very well. And so I love that you bring that part up. And I think that's male and female. So the flip side of that is, she's a gold digger from the male side. She's a gold digger.
Right.
I don't know why I started thinking about that Kanye West song. But all of that kind of comes into play, and all that baggage comes into the first encounter, and being able to just see the human being. And I would even say this, and we'll get into chemistry in a minute. It just may be good that we do some self-work before we start dating and become really acquainted with our baggage before we date. Really. And I mean that, especially if you're looking for a long-term relationship, how do I really feel about this? Do I have these preset notions already in my head? Does she have to have a 24-inch weave?
Right.
Does she have to be a size 6, 5'10"? Does she have to be that? Or does he have to be 6'4", 215 pounds of lean muscle, making 7 figures? But sis, you make $50,000 a year. How is that fair? Again, we'll have those conversations. Jennifer, I want to take this first commercial break. And when we come back, I want to dig now and turn this corner and start really talking about how do we prepare for the first date? What do we do? What is chemistry? I want to get into all of that because I think that's what folks are really trying to figure out. How do we come together and even have this encounter to create this beautiful, lasting relationship? So stay where you are. You all who are watching, stay where you are. We're going to take this first commercial break, and I promise you, we're going to deep dive when we come back. Welcome to Mogul, the place where business, lifestyle, and possibilities collide. Hello, my name is Charity Smith. I'm Miss Mogul. I'm a business leader, global speaker, trusted economic development strategist, media personality, author, advocate, and lioness mom. We're taking you next door and around the world, conversing with business leaders about the news of the day, emerging business trends, and introducing your family to possibilities that will help you live life to its fullest. Listen, we're really excited about our special interest stories where we connect you with authentic faith, spirituality, and abundant thinking. Tune in right here, streaming live on this platform or on a mobile device near you. And listen, don't forget to subscribe to this show and discover the mogul in you. We're excited to connect with you, and we'll see you streaming live right here. We're back in the studio with Jennifer. Jennifer, before we went to break, we started to talk about some of the baggage that tends to come into the first meeting. There is the stereotype of the African-American woman. She's angry. She has these preconceived notions against her man.
Right.
And then the Black man has these preconceived notions about what beauty really looks like, you know, and I mentioned that with the 24-inch weave and this, that, and the other. I want to talk now about some of the cultural challenges that we have encountered with matchmaking. I think, and the reason I bring that up is I think, again, because we read some of the fairy tales as little girls, and we played with the Barbie doll and the Ken doll, that he's going to just come in on the horse exactly the way I want him to, and he's going to look like this, and I'll look like this, and he'll say this, and I'll do. We have already planned the whole doggone thing out. Yeah. And when it doesn't happen according to our childlike fairy tale, our hearts are broken, and then bitterness sets in, and then we shun the idea, or it turns into something else, right? Well, we'll just pay them for what we can get here, and we'll just keep it. So there's just a lot of toxicity that can come into that. What has been the cultural challenge to being open to, perhaps I need help with this, let me seek a matchmaker? What have you seen?
Well, like I said earlier, is I think that as Black women, we're not, because of all the stereotypes and the different things, that it's hard for us to be who we truly are, because we're trying to present that we're not angry, we're not this prudish person. And it's just, the first thing that I would tell you is to really allow yourself to be intentional about dating and open up. Yes, we can go back and we can clear baggage and understand why we did this because of our childhood, because of the men that we dated. But at a certain point, you have to let that go. And I think that what I see a lot of, and I talked about this on another show, is that there's a lot of successful women that are successful in every area of their life. They're educated, they're great moms, they're beautiful women, they're well put together, they're spiritually grounded, and they don't want to fail because they won at all these things, right? Yes. So it's scary to put your heart out there, because I have not been successful in a relationship. I haven't been successful in love. And so I'm not going to take this chance because I don't want to fail at this.
Absolutely. I know. And I think a majority of our listeners can absolutely identify with that. And perhaps that has been the challenge to come into a matchmaker. It's that vulnerability and admitting I am great in all of these other areas of my life. And as wonderful as she may look, as wonderful as her resume is, her net worth and all of those other things, she just can't seem to find love, not lasting anyway. Right. And so perhaps that has been one of the, and I'm just assuming here, and you can chime in, but perhaps that has been one of the barriers to us, and I'm saying us as a community, coming and saying, hey, we need to talk, Jennifer.
Right.
I need to find out how this works. And it's funny how we can spend so much time, and just in my thinking about the question, how much time we spend in educating ourselves about career and about where we want to take our path and our goal setting. But we really don't spend a lot of time in investigating love and what it is and how we should pursue it. Why do you think that is?
Because of what we're taught. You said it earlier, that we're trained since a child that, the right person's going to come into your life. Pray about him, and God's going to put that person in your life. And it doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen like that. And we think that if we get assistance or we go to a matchmaker, that we're saying that I can't do it on my own. But we wouldn't feel that way if I came to you about investing, letting you know that I don't know how to do that. I need you to help me, right? It doesn't mean that I'm weak. That means that you're more educated in that's your expertise, and I'm coming to you for help. The same way you go to a realtor, the same way you go to a personal trainer. But we are taught in society and as little kids that the right person will come into your life. Don't force it, right? Mm-hmm. But there's other people that don't feel like that, right? There's a lot of other cultures that have arranged marriages and things that really, really work for them. And I think that successful women and men need to look at it a different way, is that I am successful. And the most important thing in my life is the person that I spend the rest of my life with. Why wouldn't I have the best when it comes to that? Why wouldn't I seek out a matchmaker and somebody that's going to screen, and somebody that's going to vet them, and somebody that's on the same page as me? Why wouldn't I do that? You know, I'm not going to meet, and I'm not saying that you can't meet your Mr. Right at a church or in a club or at a doctor's office or at a Home Depot, but I'm saying that at what point do you say, I'm 50 years old and I haven't done it yet? At what point do you say that?
At what point do you say, I just might suck at this?
It's not about sucking. It's not about sucking. You said something earlier where you said that I don't use the word divorce anymore.
Yes.
I think that's a good thing. You know why? Because however long you spent with that person, you were able to sustain a relationship for that long. It just didn't work out for whatever reason. That relationship ended. It doesn't mean that you're a failure at relationships. It just means for whatever reason that didn't work out.
And for all those who want to know why, get the book, The Roar of a Woman. It's on Amazon. You can read it for yourself. But I love that the shaming is removed from the process, because right. I think too, we've thought that, and I think you mentioned it earlier, you may be less than a woman, or you may admit, or you may think that some kind of way seeking out a matchmaker means that I'm not attractive, or I'm not desirable, or right. I'm not wanted or seen. And exactly the same way for a man. If I say that I need help with finding a woman, that may mean that, you know, something's wrong with the swagger. And man, your swagger is fine. You just may not have the recipe for it. And for you to come in and just kind of take the stigma away. Thank you for that. Because it is exactly like finding an expert in every area of your life that you want to succeed in. When I wanted to lose weight, I went to a nutritionist. I went to a trainer. When I wanted to expand my acumen in business or in real estate, I went to a seminar. I got trained in how to do that. When I wanted to, anything I wanted to excel in, I went and pursued the knowledge for it. I went to the experts and learned and had some humility in that. And so I love that you remove the stigma. Say, hey, you know, it doesn't mean you're not fly and excellent and wonderful and all of this. It just means if you want to excel in this particular aspect of life, you talk to the experts. Right. I love that. And by the way, a plug for here, and she didn't say this, but I am. So now we know matchmaking isn't just for them, whoever them are.
It's for everyone.
It's us, right? And I love that services like yours are available because, again, so much erroneous information has been culturally and historically passed down that now the notions of marriage and chemistry and dating have been so distorted that we now have to have a reset. Someone who has actually studied, right, the history of all of this, understands the science and the psychology behind it, and say, hey, by the way, I can help you with that. So, you know, all the mothers in the church have said, baby, just pray and wait on the Lord. He'll say, maybe you need to do something else while you pray and sis.
Yeah, prayer without work is dead, right? So you have to
no, you didn't, brother. Yes, girl, yes. Without work is dead. I also, there's something there. Is that, I'm not sure.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay. And then two, the woman or the man for that matter, who is what I call the stalker in the clubs. And you can just see them trolling, you know, just trolling. And it's like, this dude is thirsty, go the opposite direction. Or she's sitting at, you know, again, she making her way through. And it's just, you feel this desperation, this energy off of people. I call it a spirit. You feel this spirit of desperation. And it really does make the right people shun you and the wrong people attracted to you because they smell blood in the water. You don't want to be desperate. That's my plug, and I'm off my soapbox. I'm going to talk to you about chemistry because I think we've misunderstood again what it really is. Initial physiological attraction, absolutely. but it has to go deeper than that. So what is it? What is chemistry? Because we hear that term thrown around, or, you know, when we sat down, we had chemistry. When we talked on the phone, there was chemistry. When I saw him, oh my God, there was chemistry. So what is that?
Well, I mean, it's all of those things. I think chemistry, it's that energy that really connects you with somebody else. But I think that we don't understand what healthy chemistry is. I think that, you know, that's the difference. Is there's intellectual chemistry, and that's where you sit down and you really connect with somebody intellectually and they stimulate you. There's emotional chemistry where you feel those, that bond and that connection with somebody. There's sexual chemistry, but and I don't need to explain what that is. Everybody knows what that is, where you just connect with somebody intimately.
It's a family show.
Yeah.
We'll do the after 5 one for grown folk later. That's a family show, but yes.
Okay, but real healthy chemistry is built on compatibility. And so, a lot of times where I have somebody go out on the first date and they're like, oh, there was no chemistry between us. Chemistry takes time to build. And that's why we match people back based on compatibility, is because what people don't allow is they don't allow this to form naturally and organically. They're looking for those butterflies that you had when you were 19 years old, when you sit down with somebody. And I'm not saying that you're never going to have, you're never going to have that again. You do have that. But healthy chemistry, the kind that sustains a relationship, is something that forms over time, where you're going out and you're connecting with that person and the chemistry happens. It's kind of subtle, and it's not that flutter that you get, all at once, where you think you can't live without that person. And that's where a lot of times people tend to stay in a relationship maybe that's not healthy for them, because they, maybe had sex too soon with somebody, or, they're so focused on the physical aspect of what the person looks like, not allowing to really get to know that person and their personality, and seeing if he's, is he a guy that, does what he says he's going to do? Is he loyal? Is he, your lifestyle's the same? Are you spiritually the same? Those are things that really connect you with healthy chemistry. And a lot of people mistake that.
And so what I'm hearing you say too, because you've said repeatedly that chemistry happens over time. Perhaps we as maturing, and I'll say maturing adults, maturing adults, have held on to the physiological manifestation of chemistry for too long. And as we matured, our understanding of chemistry needs to mature with us. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Absolutely.
And not that the physical part isn't important. It absolutely is important. And I don't want to give license to that conversation either, because I think sometimes as women we'll say, well, I want him to love me for my mind. I want him to see my brilliance. And all of that is true, but and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but most men are attracted to what they see first. Before the mouth is open, the package has to be inviting. Hence, put it all, get it together. And I'm not saying look like a whole different person when you take it off. I'm not saying that either. Don't scare the man. But the whole maturing of chemistry has to mature with us.
Absolutely. And so I think that's a process. It's really training yourself to see other things as sexy.
Oh, that's good. That was good.
I definitely think that you have to be physically attracted to somebody in the beginning. And I'm not saying that he has to be a 10, but I think that there has to be, like, I'm not repulsed, things like that. There has to be some type of physical attraction, or it's not.
He has his own teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to pull his hair off at night.
But I want to challenge you to look past that. I want to challenge you to see, like, emotional security as sexy, as safety, as things like that. And that's all a part of retraining your brain. The fact that a guy tells me that he's going to call me, on Wednesday, and he does that. That's a turn on. You need to train yourself to see that's what you're looking for, because looks will fade. We understand that looks are going to fade. But the things that are going to sustain a lasting relationship are, and I always say that there's one non-negotiable. There's one non-negotiable in a relationship, and that's safety. And I don't mean just just safety, of course, physical safety, but emotional safety.
That's so
Do
good.
I see a home with him? Is he somebody that I can see myself with long term? And that's where emotional safety. We're looking at all these other things, and it's about retraining yourself to look at the stuff that's going to sustain a long-term relationship.
You have preached a whole word right there. Because the statement of finding other things sexy, emotional safety, finding a man that is emotionally mature, secure, nurturing. I used to hear old women say, watch how he treats his mother.
Yes.
It's a good indication of how he'll treat you.
Right.
That is so indicative of what we need to be looking for. And it really does dispel, what women sometimes look for as the bad boy. He's exciting. He gets the endorphins going. He's sexually or physically attractive. I can have a lot of fun with him, but he's not consistent. He's not dependable. He's borderline psychopathic. But the training, and again, that goes back to, in my mind, I'm not a psychologist, not practicing medicine here, but just speaking from my own experiences and conversations. We have been trained to be attracted to that because somewhere in the environment, somebody equated that to love, chemistry, and attraction. But really what it was dangerous and abusive and insecure. And I really want to have a conversation with Black women about the necessity for us to feel secure in relationships. Not that you have to take just anything that's given to you and have fun with it. And the flip side of that, because we're finding out too, men sometimes can be attracted to the wrong woman. A woman who is disrespectful, a woman who is flip at the mouth or emasculating. Somewhere in the background, that's been equated with love and nurturing. And brothers have to break free of that as well, because sometimes, and we hear women say it, particularly elder women, we have to be careful with how we speak to our men as well, because we can tear them down with our words, right?
Absolutely.
That is true. If in the first disagreement, I guess you can tell I'm passionate about this. If in the first disagreement, the brother blows his stack and raises his voice, red flag. Not, oh, I can change. Get the book, The Roar of a Woman, please, on Amazon. Oh, I can change him. Oh, I can save him. Oh, I can love him. Oh, I'll wait on him. Oh, it'll be all right.
Right.
That's a red flag. So finding dependence sexy. Finding tenderness sexy. Finding punctuality. Be on time, for God's sake.
Yes.
Finding that his charm is there. And this was another thing. Oh God, I'm telling you, I've heard it all. If he doesn't want to sleep with you on the first date, finding that sexy. Boom.
Boom. Yes.
If the first compliment was not your breast line or your booty, find that sexy.
But also, even the guy that tries to sleep with you on the first date, and you tell him no, and he's the guy that will continue to stay in that relationship, find that sexy. You know what I mean? The fact that he's going to try it, but he respects a woman that says, you have me mistaken for somebody that's been dating you for a year, So, yeah.
Okay, so
retraining your brain. That's all I can say. It's really retraining your brain and just allowing yourself to not, the love that you learned as a child. That's all right? And if it wasn't the right way, then you have to relearn how to love.
And can we have the conversation about now it's time to reinvestigate and rethink what love has been?
Absolutely.
Say that again. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said absolutely.
So now having those discussions about, do I equate risk with love? Because maybe that's the answer to promiscuity or looking for a person that doesn't commit, male or female. How do we look at love? How is it defined? I want to take one more commercial break, Jennifer.
Okay.
And when I come back, I want to talk to you now that we're discovering what chemistry is, that it's psychological, that it is physiological, and it's also retraining the brain. How do we now find other healthy adults who are in that same space to find agreement there? Because agreement is where now you're locked and loaded and you're ready to go long term. So let's take this one commercial break. And when we come back, let's dive into that. Stay with me.
Okay.
Is there a way to naturally boost your energy and immune system to help you power through your day? Need to shave off extra pounds while eliminating toxic sludge from your body? Want a glow that makeup can't provide? Millions of women trust the world-famous ISO Detox Tea and other proven products from Total Life Changes. Our products are 100% natural and proven safe, even for children. Try our best-selling NutriBurst liquid vitamins, the Chewy and NRG to sustain feel-good energy all day. For coffee lovers, we have the deliciously smooth Delgada coffee, guaranteed to brighten your morning while enhancing your overall wellness. Visit our online store, read testimonials, and order your products at retail.totallifechanges.com/MogulLife/enrollment.
All right. So we're back. I want to dedicate the end of the show to now elevating what we've learned, right? So we've learned that dating is the process of getting to know someone. I'm just kind of recapping. And that is not a one size fit all. So if you want to go fishing on your first date, fine. It doesn't have to be whatever.
Exactly.
Or, you know, if you really do want to go to the park and really, really want to go there, you know, whatever that looks like for you, one size doesn't fit all. Reinvestigate what dating is. And then you moved us into the psychological kind of barriers culturally that we've looked at, the Black female stereotype and the Black male stereotype, and how to move past all of that and just see each other for two worthy human beings being in the same space who just happen to share this one moment. And maybe it'll go somewhere else, maybe it doesn't.
Right.
But being okay with that, right? And
That's
not interrogating each other on the first date. But that doesn't mean don't be safe now. Look at the background. If he listed among America's most wanted, don't go.
Do your research. Do
your
work.
research.
Yeah.
There you go. And then also go to Jennifer and she'll do the research for you.
Yes.
And then you moved us into chemistry taking time and redefining what we see is sexy or attractive, and giving ourselves the opportunity, if you will, to let the definition of chemistry mature with us. It's not always the endorphins. Sometimes it's just, does he honor his word? Is she respectful? Are they great? Are they graceful with you? Tender. So just kind of redefining and reframing the conversation in the brain. So now that we have all of this information as unmarrieds and what we should be looking for, how do we now look for that in a potential spouse? I don't really call them partners because I think partners for business, but you know, again, that's me being old school. How do we look for that in a husband or a wife? And then how do we build agreement around that in dating?
I think it's about you sitting down and making a plan like you would do with anything else. You know, you have to make a plan and decide. I always say there's a new word that everybody's throwing around this year, and it's since COVID, it's intentional dating, being intentional about dating. And that's where I said that you say yes to opportunities in different avenues. It's not just, I mean, yes, I want to promote my business as a matchmaker, but there are all other avenues to meet the right person. And so I think that you need to say yes to opportunities. That's the number one thing is be open to opportunities in different avenues. And don't think that the way that your parents met is the way that you're going to meet, or the way that your girlfriend met is the way that you're going to meet, or through me. Be open to all opportunities when it comes to that. Be prepared for dating's a roller coaster. You know, dating's a roller coaster. And that's why I said, don't be so attached to the outcome. Know that I'm going to go out and I'm going to have fun and I'm going to meet people. This might not be my husband. But if I'm intentional, if I stay the course, my end goal is to meet the right person. And so I think it's important to have support system around you. You know, you need that girlfriend or that mom or that good, you know, guy friend that can encourage you that this is what you wanted. It's no different than losing weight or anything else. This is your end goal. This is what you wanted. So you're going to go through hurdles. You're going to have challenges. You're definitely going to go through hurdles. And to just, like I said earlier, was your list of non-negotiables. What are the things that are going to make or break your relationship? Not what Facebook says, not what I tell you, not what your sister tells you, not what worked for your mom. What is going to be your non-negotiables? For me at the time when I met my husband, you know, I had this long list of things, you know, right before I met him, this long list. He has to do this, he has to do that. But maybe 6 months prior to meeting him, I got really real with myself. And I knew that I wanted a family, and I wanted children, and I wanted to be married to somebody. I had been successful, I had a good career and all that, but that didn't make me happy. Like I was happy with myself, but as far as true happiness, I knew that I wanted a family. And so I started looking differently at the things that I wanted in a person. I started, like we said earlier, it became sexy to me that he was on time and caring and had a great relationship with his mom and called her every week, that he cared about my family, that he was interested in the things that made me happy, that he remembered stuff that we had talked about months prior. And then we never talked about it again. And I started seeing those things showing up in my life because he knew they were important to me. Yeah.
Keep going.
That he accepted everything about me, you know, the good and the bad, because, you know, we put all the good, you know, especially me, I only put the good. I don't share the bad. But I'll share it with you, you know, when we're talking, is that this has been a process. Like what you see now, 20 years ago, this was a completely different person, but it took growth and it took maturity and it took relationships that ended for me to get to this point to understand what I truly wanted and needed. You know, and so I think that's important. And the biggest thing that I can say is we have to model that for our children. We have to really change the narrative of what Black life. It's funny when people say, you know, that there's not a lot of great Black relationships. There's beautiful, amazing Black relationships all around me. I saw that even though I'm biracial, my dad is African American, and I saw that as a little child, that I had an amazing Black man. So even though I dated men that weren't always the greatest, I always went back to that foundation, and I knew that my dad was, my uncles were. I had great role models and people in our life, and it's been so important for me to model that to my son. Yes, I want him to be successful. Yes, I want him to, you know, I understand about generational wealth and all of those things, but the most important thing that I can give him is to show him how to love, because when he grows up, you know, he is going to love somebody. And I want him to understand that it's not what everybody else, you know, shows you, that it's different for each person. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I think there's so many things that we teach our kids, you know, in a relationship. We teach them about acceptance. You know, we teach them about gratitude. And that's all in a healthy relationship. You know, we teach them about compromise. And that's a big thing, is a lot of times we think, oh, I don't want to argue in front of, you know, my son. If it's a safe argument, we do argue in front of him, because we show him that in the end, we love each other, we can argue, and we come to a compromise at the end. That's teaching him how to be in a healthy relationship, you know, accepting that there's flaws that mom has and dad's accepting of them. There's things that dad has that I deal with, and I'm accepting of that. You know, there's things that you can tolerate and things you can't, and you need to know that before you go in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Because it's probably not going to change.
It's not gonna change.
No.
Oh, you know.
But it's not about being perfect. You know, there's no perfect relationship. Right. And that's what I tell him, is that, yes, mommy might nag about certain things and dad understands that. So it's about teaching him acceptance. Dad is not the most punctual person. So what do? We set the time back for him. Or those are things that we can deal with, because why? He's always there. He's loyal. He's honest. He's a great person. And so I think people need to understand that too, is that you're not going to have the perfect person. It takes work, you know, and it takes you working together to create this family, you know, show them affection and friendship and all of those things. I just think it's important for us to change the narrative. But I think if you look around, I have some amazing couples and friends that have beautiful relationships. So, you know, if you're somebody out there, just know that God hasn't forgotten about you, that your person is out there. He is. But you got to get started, you know. Don't give up. Don't give up on love, you know.
That's so, Jennifer, listen, I hope that everyone who is listening now, I'm sounding like my pastor, under the sound of my voice, because this has been the message of love. You know, at first, I have it categorized as a dating show, but it really is a message about being encouraged in the pursuit of it and not giving up on it. And right. I think that's the thing that I really wanted to drive home in this show, particularly for those women who are successful and driven and high powered and high level, etc., but sometimes can shun the idea of love because they just don't feel either worthy to pursue it, I said it, or don't feel like it will come, or they've missed it.
Right.
Somehow the perfect guy showed up in her 20s. She's missed it. I had a couple on the very first show. He's 74. She's 65. And if I tell you they are only married 2 years. Only married 2 years.
I saw them,
and
yeah.
I tell you, did you see them?
I did. They were great. Yeah.
Oh my God. And so what that told me was it's never too late.
It's never. I have clients that are in their 90s. It is never, ever too late. It's never too late. It's never too late.
At 90, sexy kind of changes to he can keep his teeth in his mouth. She can hold her teeth. Whatever.
Well, they have mirrors now, so you know times are changing. But
there you go. There you go.
It's never too late for love, and I just think that you know with social media and just it's changed the game with a lot of people. But you just have to stay true to yourself and know that somebody's ideal of love and their relationship might not be the same for you. It might not be the same for you, but don't give up and change yourself. I think that we listen to all these, and I give dating advice, but I always say stay true to yourself. When you trust yourself, that's when you will, and that's what I think it boils down to, is that you don't trust yourself and know that you can pick the right person. It's not about me. It's really about trusting yourself.
I love how you just empowered everyone who's listening. So we're not depending upon you, but it goes back to what we said, I think, at the top of the show, getting clear about who you are. Right. And I love what you said about your non-negotiables. For me, he's got to be a man of faith. He's got to love God. He's got to love family, because my 2 children aren't going anywhere. They're with me for life. He's got to have these core values when it comes to family and identity and culture and what success looks like for us.
Right.
What does that look like? So knowing that and being clear, but then too, exemplifying that. Because you can't say it's a non-negotiable and you're not demonstrating it. Hello, somebody.
Absolutely. That's a big thing.
There you go. And you used the term earlier in the show about being equally yoked. So being really clear, one, about who you are and what you're pursuing. And I say what, and I put in that who you're pursuing, what he looks like. Because he may come to you and God, he may be everything, but he's 5'9". He's not 6'4".
Right.
So is that a deal breaker?
It shouldn't be, because do you want somebody that's shorter than you, or you want a tall guy that doesn't have all those other qualities? It's about you retraining your brain.
Exactly.
You're more worried about what people think about what you look like together than that's what it is. It has, and it's mental. It's what society looks at. Oh, I'm gonna look weird when we go out together. But what about when you're home alone? What about when you're there by yourself? Would you rather have that 5'9" guy that really cares about you, or that 6 foot guy that,
Anyway. But too, it's maturing. I love what you said about maturing and having our definition of love and chemistry grow with us.
Yes.
And really being clear about what that looks like. Jennifer, a lot of people I'm sure are going to want to contact you after this. How do people look? Because I had my therapy session. Thank you so much, by the way. But how do people find you and acquire your services?
Just go to jenniferjhayes.com or southcarolinamatchmakers.com, and you can just Google Jennifer J. Hayes and you'll get my information. So
we also invite you to reach out to the show. All of you who are watching this, if you'll put comments in the comments part and say, hey, I want her information. No shame in our game. I'm transparent in saying we really do want to create a community of people who are advocating our love, supporting our kind of love, and pursuing it. So, yep, that's me. I want to talk to Jennifer. I want to get married. Yeah, that's me. I'm looking for
Don't afraid to say that. I think that a lot of people think, oh, if I say that I want to get married or I look desperate, it's not about that. Let them know what you want.
Love is human.
Yes.
It's human to want to be loved.
The soul cannot survive without love.
And I wish, look, my microphone. Throwing the microphone down. The soul cannot survive without love. You all, our love is worth pursuing. It's a human condition. We were made to be loved and to want to be loved. And it's absolutely a worthy pursuit to be loved. Yes. Jennifer J. Hayes.
Thank you for having me.
Boom.
It's been a pleasure.
The pleasure has been mine. Thank you for joining me, and thank all of you for tuning in. What I hope you have gathered from today's show is that love is possible at any age, at any stage, at any socio-economical bracket. It doesn't matter. Love is possible. What makes it possible, one, is having a real clear definition of what it is. Yes. What chemistry really is, and being honest with what your needs and your wants are. Yes. And being okay with pursuing that. And finally saying, hey, I may need some help in this. I may not know how to negotiate or navigate this. Let me go get the expert. You did it when you wanted to lose weight. You did it when you grew your business. You did it when you wanted to raise healthy children. Why not pursue this kind of help in raising a healthy relationship? Yes. So I could talk to you for a few more hours, but I won't hold up your time again. Thank you for joining me in this segment of Our Love, Jennifer. It has been helpful, healing, and empowering. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the end of this show, and let me tell you, it has been all kinds of awesome. I want to really encourage you to go back and rethink and listen to again what was shared in this segment. All of our couples have talked about the need for faith being the big picture to build a lasting relationship on. But after you have faith, you've got to know you. You've got to know what your deal breakers are. And how do you want to grow old? How do you want to age? And who do you want to age with? Do you really want to be alone? And if you're okay with that, great. But if you're pursuing a different path, there's no shame in that. Make sure that you reach out to Jennifer J. Hayes, reach out to her and tell her Ms. Mogul sent you, okay? Share this show, share this interview with all of your friends. Let's continue the dialogue on our love. Stay tuned. You're up for another segment. We have another wonderful interview coming your way. But bye-bye for now.
Thank you for watching. Connect with us on our fan page on Facebook, Master Your Morning with Ms. Mogul, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mogul Life TV. And visit our website, youcancreateyourown economy.com and mommyscreatingeconomies.com.